actionfigureresource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
Hasbro is one of the largest toy manufacturers in the world. It operates with $4 billion in annual sales, 5,500 employees worldwide, and offices in 40 countries. Its head office is in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, hence the parody toy factory in the earlier series of Family Guy. There appear to be two cornerstones of their business plan. Firstly, the proliferation of licenses that get multimedia publicity via TV shows, comics, and constant high-profile advertising. And secondly, the shrewd acquisition over the years of other smaller, less successful companies, mining their popular lines and re-releasing with the financial clout and market penetration that this industry giant can call upon. Founded in 1923 by the Hassenfeld brothers, Henry, Herman, and Hillel, hence Hasbro, they started off selling textile remnants and stationery. This lasted until the 1940s when they started on doctor and nurse toy sets, swiftly becoming primarily a toy manufacturer. In 1952, Mr. Potato Head was the first toy advertised on television.
Hey, it's Hasbro! Hasbro makes toys. What's new, Hasbro?
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with their own cars and trailers. That's what's new. See, Mr. Potato Head has a car and boat trailer. And there's a car and shopping trailer for his wife, Mrs. Potato Head. It's such fun to do, and so easy. Like this. Take any fruit or vegetable. Just stick in eyes, then ears, and then the mouth. You can make the funniest looking people in the whole world. Potato Head people look different every time you make them. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with cars and trailers come in $1 and $2 sizes.
What else is new, Hasbro?
A vanity case with toy cosmetics and beautiful accessories and real-looking doctor and nurse kits.
Hasbro makes great toys. It's fun to play with Hasbro.
In 1954, Hasbro became a major licensee of the Disney Corporation. In 1964, at the height of the Vietnam War, the first action figure was released, G.I. Joe. This was positioned as a direct analogue for a girl's doll, something a boy could happily play with that his father would approve of. However, by 1969, the war was becoming increasingly unpopular, and the Joe line shifted towards adventure and space.
G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, fighting.
Now, a new world of fun with G.I. Joe Air Force. Is your G.I. Joe ready for duty aboard a carrier? Does he have the new deck commander set with jumpsuit, signal paddles, and helmet with earphones? Is he equipped with a new firefighter set, special heat suit, hood, accessory belt, and fire extinguisher? Is he ready to go into space with a new G.I. Joe astronaut capsule and spacesuit, silver uniform, space helmet, communications cord? The realistic capsule has simulated retro rockets, sliding canopy, control panel too. And the capsule floats so recoveries can be made. There's even a phonograph record of an actual flight. G.I. Joe is the greatest. Nothing else is G.I. Joe.
Boy, oh boy, it's a Hasbro toy.
In 1968, Hasbro became a publicly traded company. Two toys Hasbro don't like to talk about from a bygone age when this sort of thing seemed like a good idea in some boardroom or other were the Hypo Squirt, which was a hypodermic needle water pistol and got labelled a Junkie Junior kit by the press, and Javelin lawn darts, long, sharp, pointed spears designed to be flung down the garden in a manner that inevitably caused actual deaths. Both were recalled. It's hard to imagine now, but Hasbro were in a bad way in the late 1970s. The original Joe line ended and they found themselves in financial dire straits. A new approach was needed if they were to survive. Fortunately, one was just around the corner, and it came at a time when certain restrictions for advertising products on children's television were lifted. In 1982, with the USA free from any major military conflicts aside from the Cold War, Hasbro re-released G.I. Joe as the real American hero. It was accompanied by a popular and carefully positioned animated series to help sell the toys. The hook, it seemed, was to make them anti-terrorist.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Cobra Nation! Get the G.I. Joe Sky Striker! Ace the Airborne, let's get those turkeys! We're gonna get Cobra this time! Our combat jets are on the way! Hey, check my missiles! They're A-OK! Great, I'm going down for a closer look! Way to go, Joe!
G.I. Joe Sky Striker comes with ace and 2 parachutes, other figures sold separately from Hasbro.
In 1983, Hasbro released the first My Little Pony toy horses. These were positioned for girls in much the same way Joe was aimed at boys, with its own cartoon series. MLP has enjoyed periods of success over the years since, most notably with the recent Friendship is Magic line, the show and toys of which had unexpected appeal to a previously untapped, stereotype-defying male market. In 1984, Hasbro bought Milton Bradley and Playskool. Milton Bradley brought with them the licenses to a vast array of board and tabletop games, including Battleship, Buckaroo, Game of Life, Guess Who, Jenga, Twister, Mousetrap, Stratego, and maybe the greatest game ever, Hungry Hungry Hippos. Playskool brought along many educational toys for young children, including perennial favourite Play-Doh. In 1984, Hasbro formed an agreement with Takara of Japan to reissue their Diaclone and Microman robot toys as the Transformers. Once again, a hugely successful cartoon series boosted sales into the stratosphere. See our dedicated Generation 1 video for more juicy info on this classic line. In 1986, the Transformers and My Little Pony animated movies were released, followed by G.I. Joe in 1987. Around this time, Hasbro overtook Mattel to become the world's largest toy manufacturer. Mattel were leading the doll market with Barbie, a titan of a toy line that Hasbro attempted unsuccessfully to counter, first with Gem and then with Maxi. Once again, somewhat inane and patronizing cartoon series accompanied the toys. In 1991, Hasbro appropriated Tonka, Kenner, and Parker Brothers. Tonka are famed for their chunky, durable, high-quality construction trucks and other utility vehicles. Kenner brought with them the all-important Star Wars license, which despite having lapsed in the interim years since Return of the Jedi, would over the next decade be brought back to life. The original trilogy special editions, and then the prequels, were released, granting Hasbro the opportunity to far eclipse the initial 93 or so figures from the vintage line, with armies of new and classic characters, as well as vehicles, lightsabers, toddler toys, and 10,000 other Star Wars products, which continue to sell today, and with the new movies are likely to enjoy a third renaissance.
Now, fight for the galaxy with the incredible weapons of the Jedi Knights, the Luke Skywalker lightsaber and the new Darth Vader lightsaber, both with blazing extendable light blades and 3 real movie sounds, Clash and Strike, Star Wars lightsabers. Batteries not included, each sold separately from Kenner.
Jedi beware. Stormtroopers are on guard with their motion detectors and 3 sinister sound effects. Enhanced blast. Switch to target and blast them before they blast you. The Stormtrooper room alarm and laser target. The Force in room alarms.
Kenner bought plenty of other licenses with them, including The Littlest Pet Shop, and you can see more about that company before they became part of Hasbro in our dedicated video. Parker Brothers brought, among other things, the Nerf license. Since 1970, the spongy foam indoor and outdoor sporting goods and endlessly entertaining dart guns had been growing in popularity and complexity. Again, this is a toy line that keeps going from strength to strength. Another big gun Parker brought with them was the Monopoly license. Despite the fact that this game was designed to prove that capitalism doesn't work and only results in bitter squabbles, it's been the most popular board game of the 20th century. One of its rivals, strategy classic Risk, also came with Parker Brothers. In 1999, Hasbro acquired Wizards of the Coast. This brought the insanely popular trading card game Magic the Gathering into the fold. There are something like 12 million players worldwide. Hasbro have been accused of gender stereotyping. Girls like dolls, princesses, babies, and pink. Boys like war and blue. A petition was launched on change.org by 12-year-old McKenna Pope, who suggested they market the longtime Kenner classic Easy Bake Oven to boys as well as girls, thus challenging the mindset that women and only women belong in the kitchen. They made a black and silver one for boys. It also comes in blue. In 2007, the live-action Transformers movie brought about the second enormous spike of interest in the bots. That same year, Hasbro came under scrutiny for the workplace standards and human rights violations in their Chinese factories. Hasbro responded that they would deal with mistreatment and abuse of their workers immediately. It is up to them to ensure that these appalling practices are extinguished within their factories. This is a deadly serious issue within the toy industry. Corporate responsibility is at constant odds with profit margins, and it falls on the biggest of companies to stand as examples for the rest. They have the finances, they have the control. They do not directly own the factories, but they have the option to deal with them or not. Overseas manufacture as opposed to domestic is a thorny debate, but most would agree that if it remains the way forward, then the workers at the heart of it need to be safe, happy, respected, and adequately paid. Unfortunately, first world employees aren't wholly safe either. In 2012, Hasbro received a $1.6 million tax break for their Rhode Island premises, promising to create 245 new jobs. Instead, they laid off 125 US workers. A year later, more massive layoffs put paid to 10% of their salaried employees. CEO Brian Goldner, however, found himself sitting pretty on a $26 million pay package, making him one of the highest paid executives in the world. Any financial analyst can tell you that this kind of corporate practice cannot go on for too long without some unpleasant repercussions. One double-edged sword of Damocles hanging over their heads is that Disney now owns Marvel and Star Wars, and may move both enormous licenses to Mattel. If this occurs, and depending on whether Disney set their sights on the Transformers license, which considering their recent action seems likely, then Hasbro may be in trouble. At the time of release, negotiations continue, but check out Action Figure Resource for more updates.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.